Bravo Figaro, bravo bravissimo, bravo Figaro, bravo bravissimo, fortunatissimo, 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 per verità.
When this famous aria begins, Count Almaviva has arrived in Seville in search of Rosina, the young woman he loves. But her guardian, Dr. Bartolo, is determined to keep her under close watch. The Count needs an ally, and that ally is Figaro. Before becoming involved in the intrigue, however, Figaro introduces himself in spectacular fashion. In Largo al factotum, he presents himself as the indispensable man of Seville, barber, messenger, advisor, and problem solver for everyone in town. The aria establishes both his personality and his central role in the comedy that follows. Rossini's music bubbles with energy and wit, demanding rapid-fire diction, impeccable timing, and enough charisma to make the audience believe that Figaro truly is everywhere at once.
Pronto a far tutto la notte e il giorno, sempre intorno, in giro sta, miglior cucaglia per un barbiere, vita più nobile non si dà. Rasori e pettini, lanceti forbici a mio comando, tutto qui sta. Rasori e pettini, lanceti forbici a mio comando, tutto qui sta. Della risorsa, poi del mestiere, con la donnetta, col cavaliere, con la donnetta, tra la lallera. Col cavaliere, tra la 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 la. Che bel vivere, che bel piacere, che bel piacere per un barbiere di qualità, di qualità. Tutti mi chiedono, tutti mi vogliono, donne ragazzi, vecchi fanciulli, qua la parrucca, presto la barba, qua la sanguigna, presto il biglietto, tutti mi chiedono, tutti mi vogliono, tutti mi chiedono, tutti mi vogliono, qua la parrucca, presto la barba, presto il biglietto, ehi, Figaro, 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 Figaro. Ahimè, che furia, ahimè, che folla, la volta, per carità, per carità, per carità, uno alla volta, uno alla volta, uno alla volta, per carità. Figaro, son qua, ehi, Figaro, son qua, Figaro qua, Figaro là, Figaro qua, Figaro là, Figaro su, Figaro giù, Figaro su, Figaro giù, pronto prontissimo, sol come il fulmine, sono attaccato della città, della città, della città, della città, della città. Bravo Figaro, bravo bravissimo, bravo Figaro, bravo bravissimo, fortunatissimo, 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 per verità. Tra la 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 la. A te fortuna, a te fortuna, a te fortuna non carà. Sono il factotum della città, sono il factotum della città, della città, della città, della città.
This brilliant final aria comes at the joyful conclusion of Rossini's retelling of the Cinderella story. Angelina, Cinderella, has endured humiliation from her stepsisters and stepfather, yet her kindness and dignity have remained intact throughout the opera. Now her true identity has been revealed, Prince Ramiro has chosen her as his bride, and reconciliation replaces conflict. Non più mesta follows the emotional resolution of the drama and serves as Angelina's triumphant farewell. Rather than seeking revenge, she celebrates forgiveness and happiness. Rossini crowns the opera with music of dazzling virtuosity, transforming the heroine's former sorrow into radiant joy. For the singer, it is a formidable display of agility, accuracy and breath control, requiring brilliance while never losing the warmth and generosity that define Angelina's character. By the time Fiorile sings this aria, the comic entanglements of Il Turco in Italia are already well underway. Married to the respectable Geronio, Fiorile is nevertheless fascinated by novelty and adventure, especially after the arrival of the exotic Turkish Prince Selim. Surrounded by admirers and misunderstandings, she delights in the excitement she creates. In Non si dà foglia maggiore, she reflects on the absurd behavior of those around her, while revealing her own playful and unpredictable nature. The aria captures the sparkling spirit of Rossini's comedy, where flirtation and confusion constantly blur the line between wisdom and folly. Musically, it demands elegance, flexibility, and a lightness of touch, allowing the singer to convey both charm and comic self-confidence. In Il Viaggio a Reims, an international group of aristocrats are stranded on their way to the coronation of Charles X in Reims. Among them is the Comtesse de Folleville, a wealthy young French widow whose greatest passion is fashion. As preparations for the onward journey continue, she receives the devastating news that the carriage carrying her magnificent wardrobe has overturned. Convinced that her precious dresses and hats have been lost, she falls into comic despair. In this aria, Partir au ciel des yeux, oh God, how I want to leave, she laments her fate with all the intensity of a tragic heroine, even though the subject is delightfully frivolous. Rossini turns this crisis into a brilliant showpiece, demanding sparkling coloratura, comic timing, and a performer capable of balancing elegance with exaggerated theatrical panic. Long before the drama begins, Rossini's overture to La Gazza Ladra introduces the atmosphere of the opera with extraordinary theatrical flair. The story centres on Ninetta, a young servant unjustly accused of stealing a valuable silver spoon. Unknown to the characters, the real culprit is a magpie with a habit of collecting shiny objects. Rossini's overture hints at both the seriousness and the humour of the tale to come, with drumroll, brilliant crescendos, lyrical melodies, and bursts of excitement characteristic of the composer's style. The overture functions as a dramatic curtain raiser, requiring precision, energy, and colour, delivered irresistibly by Sir Georg Solti and the Chicago Symphony Orchestra from a concert of Rossini overtures in 1978.